Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning back in. And today we're going to be covering something that's been a pretty hot topic since I started this channel, which is the guitar tone that I have and use. And it's been the same now since about 2010 when I got the Axe FX 2. It's pretty antiquated at this point. There's a lot of other good stuff in the market, and I see a lot of my buddies on tour with a lot of cool equipment. I seem to just get good tone out of this, and a combination of my guitars, the way I've been playing my whole life, and the tone of the machine that it puts out. I'm pretty stoked on it. So today we'll go over the different amp models, the tube screamers, anything that I can kind of remember, because this thing was programmed about 14 years ago by my good buddy Nate Northway, who did sound for us. Monster sound guy. He's out there with a Day to Remember, Falling in Reverse. He's done a lot of other big bands he's worked for. So tune in and let's get right to it. All right, so here we go. So right off the bat, I have it programmed. So I have a main channel that's just pretty much, you know, what the guitar is tuned to. Drop A. Drop A. And then if we go through all the different patches on the board, you have your drop G. And it says 2 up because it's going to go 2 octaves high with the pedal. And then there's another one, just 1 up, so that's an A with 1 going up. And this is A with 2 octaves up. And then of course you have your E, this is drop E. Sounds pretty gnarly, and it does a really good job of you know, keeping that guitar in tone. It doesn't sound very out of phase. Doesn't really have a real weird wobble that most drop tune pedals will have. So we'll take a look at the pedal a little bit later, but diving right in, there we go. So that's going to be, here's our layout here. So I was looking at the cabs before. It's an interesting way the chain goes. So from the beginning, here it is. There's your input and your gate, which I have adjusted pretty tight. You know, there's your threshold, 15.5 decibels tight. Tighten the ratio. Back to the layout. So I had a compressor on there, no more, but this is what I use. I actually use 2 tube screamers. This is the treble boost, so this gives it that real gnarly twang. Kind of hard to hear. I'm using this little Marshall I have that I jammed through for now, but it gives it a little extra, a little more crunch and crinkle on top, I'd like to call it. So we got a tube screamer that's a treble screamer, and then your standard T808, like the green regular tube screamer. So I blend two tube screamers actually, and then for the amp model, right now I'm only using the 6160, which is the 5150, but that's pretty much it. I used to blend in, what is this one, like the Bogner, let's see, Das Metal. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. Maybe you can leave a comment for you folks that know the Axe FX better than I do. Again, it's been a long time. It's been years that this thing just kind of sat here, and I programmed it over a decade ago. So, but I used to combine those a little bit. I think this is an Engel Fireball or something else like that, a European amp model. But pretty simple. No magic to it. Just that's it. There it is. Your bass, about 3/4. You always want to give it mid. You want to have mid in the tone. It's all about adjusting where the mid is or what kind of mid. So I always keep it there. If you start scooping that mid, it just doesn't sound very good, and it gets lost in mixes. So you want to have it punchy and have mid in there, but of course the correct mid that you would adjust through an EQ later. Some treble, and some brightness there. Depth. The 606 tube's pretty classic. And that's about it, man. Here it is. So I have a little boost on the low end and a little scoop in the middle, but I have the mid turned up on the actual amp. So it's going to give you some mid. It's tricky. It's kind of, you know, not really canceling itself out, but it's interesting how you scoop and then you'd add mid. But you people out there that know recording and EQing better than I do will understand. People that don't understand it, trying to do the best I can to explain it. So, and then there's another EQ. We scoop that 500 a little, and then the 1.6K is the boost. I was told this by Corey Unger, the guitar player of Blood Has Been Shed, many years ago, and he said 1.6. And Zeus, the guy that produced our first and second record, Goodbye to the Gallows, and the Respect issue, he also stood by that 1.6K is that really monstery, chunky boost to get it sounding pretty gross. So that's about it. I mean, I never really messed with any of the supply sag, the dynamics. Kind of left it as is. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you could do, but didn't really mess with any of that. So that's about it. 2 tube screamers. You got 1 amp, and you can see there's another EQ that's mildly in the mix. We're pulling some of that 250 out so it doesn't blow your speakers up when you go and, you know, give it the business. Really trying to dig into it and give it a lot of chub. And then a little extra on that AK. So that's really it. And then it goes, let me back up. That's the Axifix loop. If I wanted to. Sorry about that. So yeah, and there it is. So I think that's the loop that goes out. That's something that goes right to the board of the monitors, if I remember correctly. But the path that this takes coming out of speakers or going into my computer to record goes to a simulated cab right out. There's a lot of EQs in this chain, goodness. So this is the cab I'm using, a 4x12 German. And again, I'm using a little tiny Marshall 4x12, so it sounds pretty good for the little room I'm in jamming. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately it. That's my guitar rig. You know, we had the video where we went over the pickups and everything else that I'm using on my 7 strings that are baritone extended. And now let's take a look at the floorboard that I use. But wait, there's more, of course. We could talk about the Whammy. So let's start with the drop tuning. So if I wanted to change my tuning, I would basically have, there it is, the pitch. And you would just set it for what you want, advanced Whammy. And then you go to start and stop. So start would be your normal tune. Stop, that's 2 half steps. That's a full step down from A. So if you go down another one, now you're going half step lower than G. If you come up, you're going up only a half a step lower than A, or drop A, what I normally tune to. So you got -2, and that takes it from A to G, a full step down. And the same thing with, if we were to go to, for instance, 1 up with the Whammy. Pitch. So 12, this is actually a full 2 octaves up. And if it was going to be up 2, it would be a little bit different. So this one, I believe, is the up 1, and then up 2, 24. Okay, so 12 would be a full octave up. 24 would be 2 octaves up. I apologize. Again, it's been a long time since I've messed with this, so we just set it and forget it, right? It's just been working great. So that's about it. That's how we program or make the Whammy do all the work with the floorboard and the pedal, and you know, program it through the Axifix here. Pretty much the start-stop. Starts at your standard tuning, and then stop would be all the way up, 24 to be 2 octaves high. 12 would be 1 octave. This wouldn't do anything. -2 takes it down to drop G. And then let's take a look at what drop E is. Drop E is probably going to be 6 or something like that. 5. So if you pull down 5 half steps from A, you're at E. So that's how the Whammy works. All right, so as I showed you before, basically we went through this. We got the standard drop A, nothing, just straight up through the amp in the corner here, nice and easy, so it's good on stage. Easy to see on stage, rather, as you'll see in the corner right here. My old pedal board, which is a mess, a wiring spaghetti noodle mess that would be difficult to not have it go wrong and wires go bad, or people flipping on the stage and stepping on one of the Whammy pedals or something. But that's how it started, and now here we are. So we have your standard juice, the filter over here, and then you have your G 2 octaves up with the Whammy, so then only 1 up, so this is drop G with 1 octave up. And then of course drop E, which is always a lot of fun. Drop A with 1 patch up, or 1 pitch up. And then 2, which is the most common one we use. So that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and be more to come after this video, and we'll start talking about that 2-part series, talking about how it all started with me joining EMMURE, and kind of as short as I can make it, the path that we took and how it all happened from A to Z, and we'll make that happen soon. So thank you so much, and until next time, peace.